Hello, and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Do, Ra, me, and today I will be reading Chapter 132 of Engagement in Peril by Dara, Odoe, Suk. Chapter 132 is titled SHINSHIN and DELILAH'S Travels in Japan. January 4 to January 19, 2007. Trip in Japan. Delilah and I went on an intrepid trip to Japan, where we had spent 16 days exploring Japan with 10 other people. There were a total of 12 of us on the trip. Our tour guide was Yuka Suzuki, and we had 6 others from Australia, 1 from Sweden, 1 from England, and 1 from Norway, and 2 from the US, and 1 from Japan. We saw about 10 different cities or so during our entire trip of Japan then. January 4th and 5th, 2007, Thursday and Friday. We boarded Japan Airline flight JA061 and left at 11:25 a.m. We sat in seat 45E and 45F. But first I had to get to LAX airport before Delilah did, because we don't want her mom to know that we are going there to Japan together. I got to the airport around 0800 and checked in before anyone. My brother from another mother, Dara, was kindly enough to drive me to the airport that morning. I hadn't told him about this girl who I truly adore. Maybe I will be when we get back from our trip to Japan. Maybe I will tell him. I hope he will accept her as my lover. I was the first passenger for the flight to check in and got my ticket. Afterward, I walked around the airport terminal for a wee bit, eating some breakfast at McDonald's, and waited for the Delilah to arrive. I hung around the dining area for about 2 hours. I went to the security gate toward my terminal. I had to take my shoes off and walk through the metal detector. After checking through security, I waited at the waiting area for Delilah to arrive. She finally walked through the security checkpoint around 10:30, and we finally hugged that morning. I really love this girl, Lord. With our luggage in hand, we then walked toward our terminal where we hung out while waiting to be boarded. We chatted. Delilah called her friend to tell them where she was going and talk to her mom and also about what she was up to. Of course, she hadn't tell her friend and family about me. She didn't want anyone to know that she and I were in a relationship. So sad. Oh well, I still get to go. I still get to be with her. Finally, around 20 minutes or so before the plane was scheduled to depart, we finally were allowed to be boarded and took our seats. Delilah and I sat next to each other on row 45E and 45F in the center of the plane. While on our trip to Japan, we were fed salted Asian cracker, a dinner, and a lunch. We had our choice of beef or fish during that plane mealtime. While on our flight, we held each other's hand and I told her that I love her. We messed with the electronic and listened to music, with some movies and played card the whole trip through. We played poison card game and took a short sleep. The flight to Japan was smooth. The flight to Japan went smoothly. The seating was okay, a little stuffy, but not as such a burden. We also used the restroom whenever necessary and whenever we needed. Most of the time, we held each other's hand and chit-chat. Delilah took naps on my shoulder while I listened to music. The entire trip took about 12 hours, and then we landed in Narita Airport in Tokyo, Japan. Once we landed at Narita, we then departed the plane where we had to go through the immigration checkpoint with our passport and papers. They asked us what our trip was for, whether it was for pleasure or business. Pleasure, of course. Hee hee. And then they stamped our passport and then went to the luggage terminal at Terminal 3 to get our luggage. While I looked for our luggage, Delilah called her mom to tell her that she had arrived at Tokyo safely and that she would be catching the train to Ueno to the hotel to meet up with her group there. After getting our luggage, we then went through another security checkpoint, and then we found our way to the train area. We were paid $10 each to catch a train ride southbound to Ueno to our hotel that night. That our first night there in Japan. It's amazing. On the train ride, it was very peaceful. Throughout the whole train was though the train was full of passengers, and since it was on a workday, on a Friday, it was serene. People were very quiet. People are encouraged not to talk on their cell phone while the train's moving, and everyone comply. All they did was text, listen to music, or play video games on them. And there was no graffiti on the train or anywhere either. Everyone were well dressed. Businessmen wore suits, and women also wore suits, and school children wore uniform. Some people stood in the middle aisle where there was no more room to sit. Delilah and I sat next to one of the exit entrance door. Our train ride to Yuen lasted about 70 minutes or so. It was smooth the whole way. The passenger didn't pay us any mind. They stuck to their business. We got to the Ueno. By then it was dark. We exited the subway and made our way to the surface and found ourselves in a city full of lights and trees. The train station was next to a large park and our hotel was on the opposite side of the park, just about a brisk 6-minute walk from the train station. The weather there was cool and somewhat chilly. Good things we had coats on. We made our way through the busy street and found our hotel that night. We checked into the Kinuya Hotel in Ueno a day earlier than we had scheduled to meet with our team leader and our tour group. The front counter clerk was very nice. They checked us in and gave us our room key. We were given room 703. Our room was small and compact and on the 7th floor of the 10-floor high-rise hotel. It had 2 beds and a bathroom. We had a television set and a mini fridge. The first thing I did when we got into the hotel was take a good long shit. The bathroom was small. The toilet bowl was right beside the sink, right beside the bathtub. I had a nice shit though, all the same. We unpacked and freshened up that night and we sat around watching television and looking out the balcony. It was a cool and breezy night. We hugged and kissed. Eventually, we made love. We hugged and eventually, we hugged and kissed, and eventually, we made love that night. We made love for the first time that night, and we were made love all throughout the night. Previously, back in the state, we only gotten far as fingering and masturbating each other off, jacking each other off. Now we actually had sexual intercourse, and it was pleasant. I hope she enjoyed what we were doing then that night. I hope she enjoyed it too. We made love 4 times in all that night and morning. We took short naps or so, and we then wake up and had sex again. I was the one who wanted to do it that much. Delilah was hesitant at first because she was afraid of it. We had sex on both bed, on the floor, and everywhere in the room. We were under the sheets. We were on top of the sheet. It felt amazing that night making love with Delilah, the girl I truly loved, Lord. Being inside her warm orifice felt so good. Her warm orifice soothed my aching cold body. Her warm body comforted my chilly skin then. I hope she enjoyed what we did, and I hope that she would remember it. I hope that I was gentle on her. I kept asking if she was okay. I didn't want to hurt her. It was Delilah's first time making love, so that's what she had told me. I had a doubt about it though. It was actually that it was her first time. Seemed kind of odd to me then though. When I first penetrated her, into her, what or whatnot, I noticed that I was able to slip into her smoothly without any resistance. She had told me that she had told me she was a virgin, but it seemed that she wasn't. Oh, no matter. I got to be with her anyhow. I love her. What Shinshin didn't know or bother to realize then that was that girl had been fucked and poked at so many times before he got to her, before it was his turn to be with her. By her so-called, she was molested by her so-called uncle, father, by me, by the many others she had been used and taken advantage of thus far. Stupid ass Shinshin was ignorant and didn't want to believe it, although it was happening right before him. He also hadn't realized that she was loose from the sex that night. She was supposedly her first time, which was supposedly her first time. She had made the excuse that she was involved with sports and cheering and flag drills and such back in high school days. That's why she's loose and her hymen no longer exists and such. Fucking idiot. Poor Shinshin believed all that she had told him. All he cared about was being with her and spending his precious time with her. He should have seen her for what she really was then. A whore. A whore that had caught him in her gripping fangs and claws. January 6, 2007. Saturday. I cherished those moments. We made love about 4 times that night and morning. After all night of making love, we finally got some sleep and woke up the next day around 10 a.m. That morning it was cold, and it was raining lightly throughout the day. We then freshened up. I shitted a good shit then again, and then after getting dressed, we decided to have some breakfast at the hotel's dining area next to the lobby. We went downstairs and ordered some food. I had bacon and egg, and Delilah had sandwiches and soup. After eating breakfast, we decided to take a walk around the area. We went on and walked around Ueno area, we walked by a lake that was practically dead and decaying from the freezing winter. The plant lives were dead from the frozen cold. We stopped by a convenience store several blocks away and bought an umbrella to use against the sudden pouring rain. We then continued to walk around some more in Ueno. During our walkabout, Delilah's mom called her that morning on her cell phone to see how she was up and what she was up to. And we were walking around and went to several shops. I had to keep my mouth shut the whole time she was talking to her mom. I had to keep my mouth shut every time her mom calls. We went to a supermarket and I bought some food, chicken stick, hot dogs, and some drinks, and brought it back to the hotel room. And then we had sex several more times while we were showering and cleaning each other off our sweat and orifice stain. We made love in the confined shower, but we managed, and she allowed me to unload into her. She had told me that she was on the pills, so she allowed me to ejaculate inside of her. Later on that evening, around 5 p.m. or so, we went downstairs to the lobby to meet the rest of our tour group member. There were 12 of us, including our tour guide, Yuka. We introduced ourselves to each other, stated our names, age, where we came from, and what we do for a career and why we're here on this tour. Let's see. There was Delilah, 21, and I, 26, from the U.S. There was Jenny, 30, from Sweden, Lucinda, 25, from England, Sunniva, 30, from Norway, and Jennifer, 26, Elizabeth, 34, Monica, 19, Fiona, 19, Frank, 60, and Rose, 62. All from the Melbourne and Sydney area of Australia. And Yuka, of course, our guide, 25, from Japan. You know, Frank and I were the only male in the group. Everyone else was horned-up females. Yuka passed out our itinerary of which she explained the city that we would be going to and how many days we would be there, and the very city we would do there, and recommended meals around the area. After chit-chatting and proper introduction, we all went to dinner together at a nearby noodle house. Ueno is a crowded metropolitan area, a mixture and clash of tradition and technology, which people working all sorts of jobs and busy, mainly merchandise and sell. It's a miniature city situated inside Tokyo. People are friendly and willing to help. After dinner, we parted ways and did our own things and had to meet up tomorrow afternoon in the lobby around 4 p.m. We had to catch a train to Tokyo and then on to Hakone. That was our next destination from Ueno. On January 7, 2007, Sunday. Before going to Hakone, a group of us decided to go down to downtown Tokyo around Ginza. We took the train there as a group after we walked around the area and dined at Le Café de Tours, a French coffee bistro. Delilah and I ordered some pastry and coffee, and the other ordered lunch and coffee. After eating, we all walked around some more and got lost, so we found a police station and asked for direction. And we were directed to the right area. We went to the Kabuki Playhouse and went to see a traditional play, and we enjoyed it. It was really crowded. We were there on the very top floor and back row and barely saw anything. It was a good play. Some of us had to stand. After the play, we all boarded a train back toward Ueno. We also went down to an area where there was a bunch of girls who dressed up as dolls. Harajuku girls. We saw several groups of them in the park nearby. They posed for tourists and onlookers, and then shopping areas were really crowded, and all the younger people loved McDonald's, and they hang out there. We saw the Harajuku girls in all sorts of doll dress and color. Delilah is so into dressing up like dolls. It was her business and I didn't mind. Delilah also bought several outfits there, 3 outfits and a tote bag. 3 doll outfits and a tote bag. She looked so cute in them. The area was so crowded. We barely had room to walk around. After seeing the Harajuku girls and shopping, Delilah and I left and went back to Ueno before our deadline. I love her so much. After getting to Ueno sometime around that time, a group of us also went to see a group of sumo wrestler practice. We walked around for a bit until luckily we found their training facility. I noticed that one of the windows was foggy and such, and so we all crowded around the fog window and get a look-see. And luckily, one of the diaper-wearing wrestlers in training came out to escort us into the training area. They were large men, charging at each other like animals. We stayed there for a good hour, watching them practicing their moves and technique. Then we took the train back to our hotel. We also saw those men that practiced in the judo that night on television several days later at the sumo tournament. After getting back to Ueno, Delilah and I went to a $100 yen store and video game store in Ueno, where she bought some gifts and souvenirs for her friends and mother and gifts for herself. We went to the cell phone store to look at the various phone that Japan had. We then walked around taking pictures of scenery and such, and then we went back to the hotel and we made love once more. And then we took a short nap before we had to meet up everyone else in the lobby to depart to Hakone after that afternoon. Around 15:40 p.m. or so, we went downstairs to the lobby to check out and ready ourselves for departure. We all met up and gathered our stuff. Yuka passed out our train passes and voucher and then escorted all of us across the street to the train station nearby. We boarded a train toward Tokyo. It took about 11 minutes to get there. Then from there we caught a bullet train toward Udawara. From there we caught a bus to Hakone and our guest house at Senkioro Mae. We stayed at the Fuji Hakone guest house. We arrived there that evening. It was a dark, long ride on the crowded bus, climbing and circling the mountainside and hillside there, and there was traffic. There was so much traffic, so that made our trip slower. The weather was much chillier there in the mountainside area. It was much colder, of course. The lad and I sat together on the train and on the bus, and we played cards and made out in the train stage bathroom. I was finger banging her while she stroked me up and down until I exploded all over her cupped hands. We did it in the bathroom several times during our train ride. That evening, for the rest of our stay there in Hakone, we stayed with with Takahashi family, who was our host. We did proper introduction and were given our separate rooms, of which was named after flowers. Delilah and I were given the Sakura room next to Frank and Rose. Our room were the only one downstairs in the two-story guest house. That night, the entire group, we all had dinner at the nearby cafe, several blocks on the road, and we had a nice meal. We ate some steamed mountain potato, rice, and some eggs and some meat, and drank tea with our meal. Some had alcohol beverages, of course, also with their meal. We all sat on the floor atop a little cushion to support our heavy bottoms. After dinner, we thanked our host at the nice family-owned restaurant, and we all walked back to our guest house and departed for the night to bed. Our room was neatly arranged. We had two comfortable futons on the floor. Delilah and I set them side by side, and that evening, after we cleaned and freshened up, we made love several more times throughout the night, being mindful to keep it quiet while the other were sleeping about. I love being with and love making love to Delilah. I really love this girl, Lord. I really do. January 8th, 2007, Monday. The next morning on January 8th, we woke up each other's arm around 06:30 or so and ready ourselves for our breakfast together at 7:30. We all each paid 840 yen for breakfast. We were served eggs, toast, juice, fruits. After we all prepared for our day trip, and about in the Hakone area, we all boarded a bus to go see the Mount Fuji area. We didn't really actually go to Mount Fuji, but we went nearby and took several beautiful pictures. It was really not a really beautiful mountain. We got there just in time before the cloud came in. After we went to the Gora Owakodani, to the mountain that smelled like sulfur, and rode on the cable cars across that way, up and down viewing in some mountain air sight. While there, in Gora Owakodani, we ate black shell eggs of which was boiled in the sulfur water. It smelled a little rotten. It tasted like any other ordinary boiled egg. It was supposed to bring us good luck. So that's what they had told us. We bought some goodies, and the cable car was nice too. It swayed back and forth as we pulled up and down along the cable. I wanted so bad to take Delilah in my arms and make love to her then and there, in the moving cable car. But then again, it was crowded, and there was no privacy. After the cable car tour, we all boarded a bus and went down to the pirate ship, Tojendai Hakonamachi, at the nearby lake area. It was a nice ride. The ship was a large green, painted and decorated to look like a Japanese pirate ship, and had a golden pole on it as its mast pole. The decorated ship reminded me of various ships from an animated show called One Piece, about a band of pirates who seek the treasure of One Piece. Once there, we were allowed to board the ship and rode it across the lake and end up in Hokonemachi. After exiting the ship, we all ate lunch there, and we all ate noodle at the noodle house. We ordered noodles with meat and eggs, and after we were given a free afternoon, but we all decided to stay together anyhow and went to the old historical places and markets while looking at various shops and design. We walked through some wooded area with large and tall trees and then split up to do our things for the rest of the day. Delilah and I returned to the guest house with Yuka, and then we cleaned up and made love some more to kill time while waiting for everyone to return to the guest house. We hung around the area and walked around and went to Lawson convenience store across the street to get some snack and food that we could munch on during our outings and while waiting for the rest of our tour group. That day on January 8th, we were told that it was the day of coming of age, where the teen girl and boys are now men and women, so most shops and restaurants were closed in commemoration of this festive occasion. So we went to a nearby convenience store to buy microwavable food. We ate it back at the guest house and watched television while we hung around and waited for everyone else to return from their individual and personal outings. Once everyone returned to the guest house and after cleaning up and preparing ourselves and after a nice hearty dinner shared together, around 2000, around 2000 that evening, we were all taught and shown how to make origami, folding paper into various shapes and design. Delilah had already known how to do origami. She was good at that in that sense. She was quite impressive at what she knows. 'Cause she's smart like that. I love you. I love you so very much, Delilah. After we all took shots at making something, we all turned in for the night. Well, Delilah and I, we decided to use the natural spring bath water together that night because the previous night before, I had used it alone because she was in the mood to bathe with me. Quietly and mindful, we snuck ourselves into the hot spring shower area situated in the greenhouse. Before entering the natural hot spring water, we washed ourselves and warm hoses water, and then went into the natural spring butt naked. We washed and cleaned and scrubbed each other all over while inside the steamy spring. I fingered and ate at the light several times while we got ourselves wet and horny. After giving me some gulping heads, we then made love in there inside the hot natural spring water and also all over the bathroom area. Luckily, there was no surveillance camera in there to record what nasty shit we were doing then in the hot spring guest house. After we all had our fun of sexually pleasuring each other that pristine night, after making love and enjoying each other's company, we cleaned ourselves up and went back to our room to prepare for bed. Delilah and I once again made love quietly in our room atop our futon-like mattress before comfortably falling asleep in each other's arm and dreaming of a better tomorrow. We slept soundly that night while I prayed and thanked the Lord for the gift to be with Delilah. January 9th, 2006, Tuesday. January 9th, the entire group had to be ready by 10 a.m. the next morning. Delilah and I woke around 7:30 and had breakfast, and then we packed and got our bags in the lobby and had a free morning to do whatever we had liked, and head back to the lobby by 13:30 to radio to go back to head on to the next city of Nikko, our next Japanese city to visit. So Delilah and I went to see the Little Prince Museum, but it was too expensive to enter, so we went to see a samurai place instead. We took pictures together. Monica and I and Fiona also came along with us then. What I had noticed was that Fiona was getting to me. Her cute pasty complexion was turning me on, but I was stuck with Delilah, and I'm unsure how she really feels about me. She seemed so distant at times. As for Fiona and Monica, they seemed the lesbian type. They were quite friendly to each other. After about an hour or so, just the four of us, we each took our couple and set off to different directions. Delilah and I tried to vending machine corn soda and walked around the Hakone area. Then we hung around the guest house and waited for everyone to return. Around 13:30, we all packed and got our gears and said goodbye to our guest house and host, and once again departed for our next site, Nikko. We all took the public bus down to Odoe bus depot area. From there, we took the train to Nikko. It was a nice train ride. Delilah and I once again sneaked off to make love in the train's bathroom hole. After arriving in Nikko, we all took several taxis to the Hotori An guest house in Nikko. There was snow on and around the area. We were in higher elevation. It was so cold. It was cold that evening. We all checked in and got our assigned room. Delilah and I were on the second floor and once again had a soft mattress on the floor to share. After unpacking and rating our guests, we all met downstairs to go to dinner. We all walked about half a mile or so to go to dinner at a local small Japanese restaurant. Dive there. After a good long brisk walk, we all crossed our bridge and stream. We ended up in a nice dive. We all ate at the Miki's Hapari Dako, of which each is paid 1,000 yen. We had a nice meal. The lady was really funny. She spoke good English and she had pictures of all sorts of tourists from everywhere. People left behind their pictures, identity card, and student IDs and business card for her to hang around the shops. I had left my substitute teacher business card as well for her. We all had a nice time, and then we walked back to the hotel. Once there, after our shower, Delilah and I made love several more times that night before falling asleep in each other's snuggling arms. I love her so much, Lord. I really do. January 10th, 2006, Wednesday. January 10th, that morning, we all had breakfast at 0730, of which Delilah and I shared our meals together of eggs, sausage, and toast. And then we all walked to several shrines in the area. We saw the Toshogu shrine, and we saw some temple, saw some nice design and pattern embossed on it. It was the year of the boar that during that year. It was the year of the boar during that new year of 2007. We visited several shrines and temple, and also we went to a frozen garden and pond after that had several nice colorful miniature bridges situated around the garden area. We all took turn and used the bathroom, defecating and urinating our fill up the bladder and colon. That was traditional toilet and some just a hole in the ground, pissers and urinal. After having visited the shrine, we had a free afternoon, so Delilah and I went to the post office and sent out some postcards that we had bought from the local merchant. I sent a postcard to my friend Dara back in Cherry Pineapple Grove, California, where Delilah sent postcards to her mother and friends. We then walked around the area, sightseeing and taking pictures. The snow that was nice and running the stream was nicer. The chilly breezes kept us cool and relaxed for the walk that we did. Our bedroom at the inn was directly across the river from a pet cemetery of sorts. There were several small tombstones placed all over the place there. Some covered with light colored snow. That morning, Eli and I walked around our hotel area and played in the snow in the park next to the hotel. The snow wasn't impacted, so it wasn't enough to make a snowman or a snowball. We made some snow angel and wrote our names in the snow instead. We also took pictures, several playing around. After playing around, we built up a good sweat, so we returned to our room and made love in the shower that morning before readying to go out for the day with our group. I love making sweet, comfortable love to Delilah. And we all met up in the lobby around 1800 and walked around about a mile or so to the Japanese pub to have dinner once again as a group. We all had a nice meal. Several of us drank too much, though, through that evening. Delilah and I ordered separate and shared our meals. I love doing everything with her, and I love her so much. After dinner, we all walked back to our hotel and got ready for bed. Delilah and I freshened up and made love several more times before turning in. I love her so very much, Lord. I hope she understands and realizes that my love for her is true and sincere. What SHINSHIN had bothered to realize then was that he and Delilah were being followed by a private investigator sent over by her conniving mother Lilith, who had hired him to trail her pampered and shallow-ass daughter. And SHINSHIN was being set up since then. I wish I had known then what Delilah was doing to him. I wish I could have stopped him then by telling him, "Don't go with that bitch, SHINSHIN," but I had no idea he was seeing her. That bitch of a whore succubus, I never had no idea that he was seeing her. January 11th, 2006, Thursday. January 11th, Thursday morning, Delilah and I shared breakfast, and at around 08:15, we all met in the lobby with our gear and prepared to go to Takayama, our next destination city. A few minutes later, several taxis came and picked us up to take us to the Nikko station. So we spent half a day on the road toward Takayama. From Nikko, we went into the Utsunomiya on the train, and from there we headed toward Tokyo and hung around for about an hour or so. We all got our own lunches, and then from Tokyo we went to the city of Nagoya on the train. On the train, Delilah and I played cards and held hands and stole kisses from each other, and then from Nagoya we boarded and headed on another train toward Takayama, and we will arrive there around 14:19 that afternoon. After exiting with all of our belongings from the bus station, we walked several minutes to our Ryokan, our hotel. The scenery was filled with a snow-capped mountain and terrain. It was really nice. Here the snow was much more packed, and we were able to make snowballs and have a little snowball fight, just to kill time. Once we arrived to our hotel, we checked in the hotel lobby and got our room. Delilah and I shared a room on the third floor, and we took a short nap and made love once again. At this time, I was really gassy, so I tooted here and there while we were making love. Did you know that Delilah queefs at time when we make love? She seems to be doing that all the time. At the same time, I love her, no matter what. I love her very much. I don't care if her pussy makes a noise. The hotel was stayed in. It was really nice. They had us dressed in traditional clothing, robes and kimono. We had free time until dinner at 17 that evening, so we walked around the area for a bit, looking at shops and buildings and taking several pictures along the way. And around 1900 that evening, we all got gathered up together and had a very nice dinner. It was a very large, elegant dinner. Our group had a private room to eat in, and we were served by the very nice elderly lady. We took several of our food, and the best thing we had all the meal and were free. It would have cost us at least 4,000 yen each. I think it was part of our hotel costs and expenses then. The dinner at night was extra delicious. We had vegetable, fruits, various meats, and sake wine. Some of us had Japanese beer and soda. We were all dressed in our robes and kimono, the men in blue and brown robes, while the women in pink, blue, yellow, and various color with flowers and exotic patterns kimonos. After the delicious dinner, we all went back to our room and had a nice nightcap in one of our girls' room. We had tea and chocolate, and afterward, Delilah and I went back to the room and slept. Delilah cut me off from sex for several days then. She was somewhat annoyed with me because I said that she couldn't go a day without having sex. It was stupid on my part for saying that. Pitifully, I took a bath alone that night, masturbated in the tub downstairs. I wanted so bad to make love to Delilah, but she would have nothing of it. She was so stubborn that night. So we slept with our backs turning away from each other. It was our first actual argument fight then. So we slept with our backs turned away from each other that night. I still love her all the same, though, Lord. January 12, 2006, Friday. January 12th, breakfast was at 07:30, and we all had a very nice breakfast, too. It was delicious, and a lot of it. Wow, we had several hours until we had to meet up again at the Takayama station around 10:30. So we walked around several blocks and went to the local city hall and used the computer to go online. Delilah read her email and messaged her friends, mother and friend. I checked my Yahoo Mail and signed off. After the computer, we met up with everyone else at the bus station, and then we got a ticket and boarded a bus to go to Haida Folk villages several miles down the road. Once there, we were free to do our own thing. We walked around the snow, we took pictures of the frozen lake, and we able to ski down the slope on wooden skis. Delilah and I shared an ice cream cone that cold morning we had purchased from a vending machine. I love her so very much. After a tour, we had a free afternoon, so Delilah and I stayed behind and went to the Teddy Bear Museum several hundred yards away from the folk village. We walked around some more, taking pictures. These stuffed bears were from every part of the world. We took pictures of the small and giant stuffed bear. There were so many bears there. They came in so many sizes, from the tiniest of tiny to the biggest of big. And then we went to the bus and headed back to our hotel in Takayama. Once there, we walked around town once again. Just walking and looking, we went to see in several shops, bookstore and toy shop, and some clothing shop and shop. And we got back to our guest house. We were visited by our host family from Hakone and the Takahashi family from Hakone, the one who stayed at the used natural hot spring that had come down to visit the city before their daughter that had never been to the Takayama before. I sat in the lobby chatting with them, and we took pictures and drank tea together as we spent several hours talking about this and that. Afterward, I went back to upstairs, and later we went to with everyone else that evening at 1900 for dinner. The women were allowed to choose their own kimono to wear at the dinner. Delilah wore a pink and flower kimono. She looked ravishingly scrumptious in her kimono. Makes me warm inside, but still she was stubborn and cut me off from having sex with her once again. Well, we'll see who wins in the end. I love you, Delilah. After the female in our group looked nice in their colorful kimono, we posed for picture. We all took pictures of each other, and we had a really excellent dinner that evening. We also had a sake, plum wine. The dinner consisted of meat, fish, vegetable, dessert. I ate everything that was. I ate everything that I had, and then some. It was really delicious, and we all had a nice time together. After we all made our way upstairs to our room, Delilah and I hugged and kissed goodnight and slept with our stomach full, but no sex. I really wanted to make love to her then. January 13th, 2006, Saturday. January 13th. Next morning we woke up around 06:30 or so and got ready and went downstairs for breakfast. We all had a very nice meal. The breakfast was delicious, a lot in so many portions. After breakfast, everyone had a free morning until 11:25, so we all set out and walked about in town after we put our luggage in the lobby. We were all checking out late that day. We all strolled around town looking at various shops and market. We were informed that our luggage would be waiting for us at the Takayama bus station when we were supposed to meet up there. So we window shopped and went to the sake winery. We all got a taste in a free shot glass as a keepsake. It was really nice, the process of fermentation and storage of the sake. We had a nice time in the factory. We all walked around and window shopped for a while. Then on our way to the bus station, we stopped at Lawson convenience store for some food and drinks for our long train ride to Hiroshima. Delilah and I got Yuka a gift for being our great host. We got her a sake set with several nicely designed glasses and a bottle of plum sake. Yuka loves to drink, beer or sake, of course. I paid for the gift. Delilah didn't bother chipping in. We all met up at the bus station around 11:25. We took the train from Takayama to Nagoya, from Nagoya to Okayama, and from Okayama to Hiroshima. While on the train, we played cards and stole kisses from one another. I wanted so bad to make love to Delilah then. She was upset at me and still hadn't come around. I love her dearly still. We got to Hiroshima around 17:33 that afternoon and walked from the train depot to the bus, and from there we rode the bus for several miles, and after we walked to our hotel in Dabashi. We got to our Ryokan around 1810 or so and checked in. Delilah and I were given room on the fourth floor, and we unpacked and readied ourselves for a walk to dinner as a group in Hiroshima busy nighttime district. Around 18:30 or so, we all walked around a mile or so to the dinner at an Okonomiyaki, a Japanese pancake house. We walked through the large park and under some beautiful neon lights and through Hiroshima shopping center and mall. The metropolitan city was quite lit up. The pancake house was packed. There were several different pancake shops all over, all with their individual family and customer. We went to the last one in the corner, where their elder, where three elder people served us food. They were cool people. I ordered the double bacon, and Delilah ordered the seafood rice pancake, and they cooked it in front of us on a hot plate. We had juice and water, where the other had beers. We all had a nice meal. I hope Delilah finished hers, and after we all walked back to the hotel, I lounged around for a bit in the electronic massage chair, and Delilah and I went back upstairs. And you know what we did that night? We finally made love. We finally made love once again. Yay! It was wonderful being able to share with Delilah what we wanted. I love her so much, and I love to make love to her. It feels great to be in each other's arm again. We showered and made love. Our room was quite small, and we once again slept on the floor on the makeshift futon. We had a nice tiny restroom where we had space to thrust and pound into each other. After our long-awaited steamy sex and spilling all over each other, we cleaned up and watched our television. We hung around downstairs and waited for our turn to use the internet computer, and we drank some coffee in the hotel lobby while chit-chatting with our group and friends. Downstairs in the lobby, they had several vibrating leather chairs, and we took turns using it. Our host family was very pleasant. They gave us sweet treats and cookies. Afterward, we went back upstairs to get some sleep. Before turning for bed, Delilah called her mother and told her how her day went and what she did. Afterward, Delilah and I made love once again and enjoyed each other's company for the rest of the night. During our gentle caressing sex, she allowed me to come inside of her. She didn't mind worrying about getting pregnant. She had told me that she was on the pill, and so I believed her. After all, we had been an intimate partner for several long months now. I really love this girl. I really love this girl, Lord. January 14th, 2006, Sunday. January 14th, free Sunday. Free, we had a free day in Hiroshima and free to do as we please. Delilah and I decided to sleep in, and when we woke up, we decided and went to explore the city later on. We walked around the park. It was really nice. We went around the epicenter of where the atomic bomb was dropped during World War II on Hiroshima, Japan, in 1945. We walked by the museum and dropped off my paper crane at the girl's statue of where so many paper cranes were placed. They had a paper crane memorial dedicated to all the children of Hiroshima who died during the dropping of the devastating bomb. Delilah and I walked around and took pictures of statues, buildings, and vast area, and then we went to have breakfast at McDonald's. After some burgers and fries, we then went about patronizing various stores in the mini malls they had there. Delilah found several stores on her liking. She liked to dress in beautiful doll dresses and Lolita outfit. We went to several, and she bought some item, a dress, a bag, and walked around and looked some more comic shop. One shop in particular, she got upset with me for a bit when I was looking at an anime porn magazine at the bookstore. I bought several keychain trinkets of Naruto and Bleach character from the mechanical machine and went to the 100 yen store and bought some item. Delilah had bought an anime writing pad and such. I bought a face tissue and walked around for several more hours. I got tired and decided to wait around outside the mall, for Delilah while she goes up to look at more dresses, and I waited for several hours and she never came out of the store. So I left and went inside to look for her, and she wasn't there. A little upset about her missing. A little upset about her missing, and after several hours of waiting, I made my way back to the hotel all alone and waited for her in the hotel room for the girl I love. And then finally, the light came about half an hour or so later, and we discussed what happened, where she wasn't what she was doing, and we came to understand and got over it shortly. We hugged and kissed for a bit then. We ate what we had bought from the grocery store and waited for dinner time with everyone. That evening around 1800, we all walked back to the shopping area and went to a Japanese pub. It was a nice building. It was several stories tall and had all to take shoes off. We ordered separate and had a nice meal. After we broke off and went our separate way. Yuka, Delilah, and I went to go to an arcade to take pictures. Delilah and Yuka got dressed in costume and cute outfit, and I took pictures with them. They only had costume for girls, so I posed in their pictures with them and a nice time for the festive night. Delilah and Yuka also played Dance Revolution and had a nice time together with each other then. After we walked back to our ryokan, and then we all went to bed. I wished Yuka could have joined us that night in our room. Happily, Delilah and I made love and had a nice time that night too. Yuka would have been nice there as a third wheel with us. I love her. After making love, we fell fast asleep in each other's arm after washing up. January 15, 2006, Monday. January 15, we had to get together early that morning because we had to catch up early train to Miyayami to get to see the floating torii gate. So we had to meet up at the lobby around 0625 and walk to the trolley area. So with our group, we all walked from Tobashi to catch the trolley, and from there we went to Miyayamachi, and from Miyayamachi to Miyayama, and from there we got on the ferry to cross the lake to see the floating torii gate. On our way to the island, we ate the snack I had in my pocket, and once at the island, we walked around the area, and we had left the station. There were many Asian deer out and about in the area, and they weren't afraid of people. These friendly deer came up to us and took several pictures of them with them. We made our way toward the torii gate. Most of the shop hadn't opened yet because we got there so early. We kept on walking. We got close to the floating torii gate and turned posing in pictures of it. After we went to the temple on the island. Once there, we walked around the temple area, looking at various worship and prayer rooms, and ended up in the opposite side of the nice worship wooden island. We then split up and broke off separately. Several of us decided to go on a hike, and some of us decided to go back and look around the shop and for gifts and souvenirs. By then, several shops were open, so we did some window shopping and purchased some items and trinkets. While walking around, the rest of us caught up with everyone else and went to the ferry together to get back to the mainland, and we all got to the trolley back to Hiroshima that afternoon. We got back to the hotel and freshened up. The lad and I stole several minutes and made some sweet, sweet love-making. And then the group went on to separately for a while. Delilah and I decided to go to Hiroshima Museum and took an out tour. It was a really devastating time that in 1942 for Japan. The way the bomb was dropped on people and hardship again, which those people went through. We also listened to live speech by a survivor of the bomb. After we walked around, took some picture, and went to the mall again. And Delilah dressed in her doll-like dress and went to the take picture in the arcade again. Just me and her this time, of course. She looks good and she got looks and stared by the native there, but she seemed to like the attention nonetheless that she got. Delilah loves attention. We took several pictures together, and then we took several more pictures, and then we walked back to the hotel. Once at the hotel, we checked our email and went upstairs to our room and made love once more while she wore her doll outfit. She allowed me to come all over her dress and face then. I love her so much, Lord. I love making love to Delilah. So we hung around the room, watching television, and around 1800 we went down to the lobby to meet everyone to go to dinner at the Korean barbecue place several blocks down the road from the hotel. Once there, we all had a nice meal. Delilah and I shared our table with two other people, Rose and Frank, and we all had a nice meal together that night. And after our meal, we all walked back to the hotel and went to bed. Delilah and I made more love before falling asleep in each other's arm. I really enjoy making love to this sweet, sweet girl that I have come to love dearly, Lord. I only pray she feels the same about me as much as I love her. January 16th, 2006, Tuesday. January 16th, the next morning, we didn't have to meet up until 09:15 in the lobby with our luggage. We all walked to the Hiroshima Museum and met a survivor of the bombing. He was a nice man, small in stature, and spoke English really, really well. He was a high school student at the time of the A-bomb drop. We all put in $5 each for his speech. He was a well-spoken man and very intelligent. After our lecture, we all went back to the hotel and got our luggage and headed out to the train to catch a ride to the next city in our itinerary. It was the city of Kyoto, the original capital of Japan. We took the trolley from Dabashi to Hiroshima around 1100, and from there we took the train to Himaji, and we got off and went to visit the Himaji Castle for several hours. We spent about 4 hours in Himaji that morning, looking at castles and such. And after the castle, we had free time then. The castle was really nice, very big and several story tall. We went up and down small, creepy wooden stairs, and we had a good walk. And then we walked around the area and went to the shopping area around there as well. Delilah and I went to a $100 yen store again and bought some chopsticks, and she took another dress. She looked at another dress store nearby. I waited outside while she went upstairs to look at the dresses. She made sure not to take too long this time. We took several pictures and walked about and got snack from a nearby store. Delilah bought a mug from a Japan Starbucks and gave us for her mother. After walking around, we met up with everyone else at the train station around 14:50 that afternoon. We all met up and went to get our luggage, and then we store in the train station storage locker. After we made our way to our train and boarded the bullet train from Himaji to Kyoto. The ride to Kyoto was about an hour. From the train station in Kyoto, we walked about 5 minutes to our Ryokan. Kyoto train station terminal was really nice. It was very large, several stories tall. After gathering our belong, we had a nice brisk walk to our hotel, only several blocks away from the main station. With our shoes off, we all checked in, got our room and assigned, and we went to our room. And shortly after unpacking and getting something in order, we all met up in the lobby at 1700, and we went to an all-you-can-eat buffet right under the train station. We all had a nice meal at the all-you-can-eat buffet restaurant. Although it was pretty pricey there, it was all good. After our dinner, we all walked back to our hotel. Several of us went straight to the hotel, and a handful of us went to a nearby pub to have some drink. The people who went to the pub was myself, Delilah, Yuka, Monica, Fiona, Jennifer, Zuniva, Elizabeth, and Lucinda. What do you do at a pub? Well, we all drank. Even I drank something and got wasted. Delilah had a few beers, and everyone else got wasted on beers and hard liquor, Japan sake and beers, and we also all paid about the same amount for all the alcohol consumed. We all shared our debt for all the alcohol consumed that night. Besides drinking, we also fooled around on the karaoke machine. We sang various American songs together, some of ABBA and other 80 band group. We spent several long hours that night. Since the small pub didn't have enough room for all of us, I was allowed to go behind the counter and stand next to the lady who owned that alcohol and karaoke establishment. She was kind, and we ended up putting in each $10 for her for our expenses from all the drinking. After the drink and sang Songfest, we all walked along single block back to our hotel and went to bed. In our drunk stupor, Delilah didn't bother to take her birth control pill that night, and she and I made love and felt each other hard, drunk hard. She didn't care if I was squirting my load inside and all over her, whatnot. She didn't care and allowed me to do as I pleased. During our heavy lovemaking, she had said she wanted me to impregnate her. I come all inside of her. Then, and in our soiled sweat and sticky stain, we fell fast asleep in each other's arms once again. I love you, Delilah. January 17th, 2006, Wednesday. January 17th, we all had to meet in the lobby at 0830 so that we may visit the Kinkaku, Jirokienji, and Nyojo Castle in Kyoto that day. We were visiting 3 castles that day. These 3 castles were really nice. Too bad it was winter here at the time in Japan, so we couldn't see all the cherry blossom blooming around the castle. We all met up and ate on the way to the bus station. We all rode on the city bus and went to the castle. It was nice. The castle wasn't that much far from one another. It was really a nice experience to be able to go in and walk around the stair and hallway of those 1,000-year-old castle. We spent most of the day touring these castles. We took pictures and enjoyed ourselves each other's company. Mind you, the walking at times was quite tiring. After the castle, we had the afternoon off, so Delilah and I went to shop around the mall by train station and made local shops. We went to Starbucks and got our fix of caffeine, sugar, whatnot. We went to various stores to look for locks for my luggage. We walked around about and went to various shop center and looked around. We ate what we felt like it and went back to the hotel and had more dirty, sinful, non-Catholic sex, of course. Delilah had thrown out her Catholic belief then. Well, since she allowed me to stuff my finger and fist inside of her last November, then when we start to be intimate. Have I told you that Delilah is supposedly Catholic or so? So she so she wasn't supposed to be having premarital sex with anyone, but then again, I'm pretty convincing when it comes to getting laid. After all the days event that at the castle individually After all the day's event at the castle and individually we went with our lovers, whatnot, we all returned and went up as a group at the hotel. That evening around 1800, the entire group all met up, walked several blocks and took a bus together to the main shopping area of Kyoto and ate at the sushi train restaurant. The food there was placed on a conveyor belt of sort. We picked whatever we wanted, take it off the conveyor, and get down to eating it. You were charged by the number of plate you had in front of you, and the prices of the food were color coded on the plate. That's how they know what to charge you, and we all paid for our bills separately. We all had a nice meal then that night, and after we ate. From there we walked around and went to a nicely decorated karaoke parlor and sang the rest of the night away. We had a nice cozy room to fit all 12 of us in there. We all sang various songs together and had a nice, real good time, laughing and singing together. We all enjoyed the night. Some of us got drunk once again. Each girl took turns singing individually, all songs nicely. Delilah sounded at best. Afterward, we caught several bus cab back to the hotel. Once back at the hotel, we all cleaned up and went back to bed. Like our usual nightly activity before turning to bed, Delilah and I made love and enjoyed each other's company and slept hand in hand. I love you, Delilah. January 18th, 2006, Thursday. January 18th, last full day in Kyoto, we had a free day in Kyoto. So Delilah and I explored the vast city once again. We took several buses to a mall several miles down the road and shopped about in there. Delilah wore her doll-like dress. She's so cute in it. She's so cute in it, Lord. Once at the mall, and after looking around in numerous shops, we went to take more pictures together in the picture booth. We played video games at the arcade and ate and ate. We did that day. We bought food and walked around and enjoyed each other's company. Delilah is so beautiful and so smart then. I love her so much, Lord. Dara bought some bags and totes, and I got some more trinkets and small items for keepsake. She then took the bus back. We then took the bus back to the hotel to rest. Then we made love gently once again. And then went out to the mall again and window shop and look around a bit for more. We hung around until we had to meet up with everyone else for dinner at 1800 when we were our last day, where we will have our last dinner together at the Shabu Shabu and Sukiyaki restaurant. It was all you can eat meat and vegetable plate, and it was a great. Four each to the table. So Frank rose, Delilah and I shared a table once again, and we ate about 5 dishes full of beef and vegetable that night between Frank and I. The all you can eat once again cost us 2,000 yen each, and we all had a nice meal. We all gave Yuka an envelope with money that was put together for her, gesture of appreciation for all the work she had done, and that she had been a great guide for all of us. With appreciation, she thanked us and praised us. After dinner, we strolled around this area looking for geisha girl and ladies of the night. There there were hookers, prostitutes everywhere here in Kyoto, in the red light district. High class hooker with rooms and availability. Besides looking out for geishas and ladies of the night who entertained the gentlemen needs, we also took pictures. After we took the bus back to the train station, and we walked back to our hotel and packed and ready for our trip back to Kyoto and home tomorrow morning. We were to return back to the States. That night, Delilah and I bathed together and made love several more times before turning in and sleeping away that night. I love you, Delilah, and I love you very much. January 19, 2006, Friday, day of departure from tour and groups. January 19th, day of departure for the majority of us. Delilah and I were headed back to Kyoto to catch our flight from Narita Airport back to Los Angeles, California. We woke up around 0800 and ready ourselves to leave. We had to catch the early train from Kyoto to Tokyo to catch our flight from Narita Airport to LAX that day. Yuka did practically everything for us in help in getting us prepared for our trip at home. She was getting us all passes for the bullet train and buses that we needed to get back to Kyoto and States. Yuka was a great guide and a wonderful person. She even walked us back to our final bullet train from Kyoto. She had to catch the next train to get back to Ueno Station to meet up with the new group of people there, where she would start her new group tour, where her next group would start again. She said it was a much smaller group than ours, like 7 people only. We thanked her, hugged her, and departed from each other then. I wish her well and good health. Hope to keep in touch with her in the future. Also, another of our team members took the same train with us. It was Lucinda from England, the English girl who loves to drink. She worked in a law firm in England. She was a lawyer assistant of sorts. She too was headed back to Kyoto to stay there for several more days until she had to return to her work and home in London, England. While on the various train we had to take to Kyoto, Delilah was our navigator. We played cards on the train back. We had to catch several trains back to Kyoto. The train took us directly to Narita Airport, and on our terminal we checked in through the immigration section and metal detector and readied ourselves for departure. I was pulled aside by a Japanese security officer with some suspicion of my presence there. He made me take off my steel-toe boots. He checked it thoroughly and ran my name through their Interpol database using my passport identification picture and numbers. Shortly after, he allowed me to leave the security area with Delilah, and we headed toward our designated terminal. Little did I know then that I and Delilah was being followed by her mother's spy. Before departing for Japan, we visited several shops at the airport and bought some more souvenir. I bought a sake set for safekeeping and some trinket, where else Delilah bought some more Sakura Kit Kat chocolate bars for snack and some more trinkets for her friends in the States. Shortly after, we boarded our flight, and we were seated in seats 72B and 72C. Our plane departed Narita Airport in Japan and flew back to LAX across the Pacific Ocean, and our entire trip took us only 9 hours or so to get back home. We made good time because the plane rode along and in the jet stream that was situated in the atmosphere above, saving us several hours of flight of getting back home once again. On our way home, we busied ourselves with puzzles, Sudoku, quizzes, and games, and stole kisses and made out several times. And we played card games and asked for some free decks for safekeeping. And we also got some sleep on the way. The plane ride was smooth and relaxing. I wanted so bad to take the lad to the airport, to the airplane's bathroom, and have my way with her then. Unfortunately, she was nervous about being caught by the plane staff, so she didn't want to join the Mile High Club. Instead, we calmly held hands and passionately kissed during our flight while we snuggled in each other's arm under the disposable blanket. Happily, she gave me several hand jobs while the plane was in flight. She also allowed me to stick several of my fingers in and up her wet, womanly orifice then. Does that count? We left Narita at 16:50 on January 19, 2007, Friday afternoon, and got back to LAX the next morning around 06 a.m. or so. On the 20th of January, Saturday morning, we kissed and hugged once again, and we landed safely. Once we arrived into and at the LAX International Airport Terminal, Once we arrived safely into and at the LAX International Terminal, we once again went through immigration checkpoint together. Getting to the declaration area was easy, but I had to wait about another hour or so before going out into the pickup area. Delilah's mom was already waiting for her out there, so I stayed behind until I called my brother, Dara, to pick me up, and so Delilah and I hugged and kissed goodbye for the day. Delilah left me there in the immigration area there, all to my lonesome self, and I waited for the next hour or so. While waiting for her to be on her way back to her home with her mom, me pacing up and down the area, I was being viewed and monitored by the airport security area. I was pulled aside and asked about my travels, and my luggage was searched, and they found nothing suspicious of sort. I hadn't bought much stuff, and I packed light on my travel. After several minutes and questioning running my name through their database once again, like in Japan, I was allowed to leave the area, and my brother Dara outside picked me up at the airport. Turns out that I got home from Delilah. It turns out that I got home before Delilah did and waited online for her. We chatted a bit. I took a good day's nap before waking up and taking some more later. That night, I loved Delilah very much, Lord. I love Delilah very much, Lord. Please help me to be happy with her. This I beg of thee. End of our travels in Japan. Had a lovely time. Thank you for listening. This is the end of chapter 132. Be on the lookout for chapter 133, titled More Dates of Event. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you later. This is Do, Ra, me, and I'll see you later. Thank you.